This course was awesome because it made it real and it made it attainable because it really got into the nuts and bolts of how do you run a business? Because all of us know about our horses and what we do in the horse world, but I didn't know the first thing about business. So when it comes to concrete things like bookkeeping and the legal end of things and digital tools, it's just amazing. Now I know I know what I didn't. We all let me. How do I say that? There's so much that I didn't know that I didn't know, and now I know where to go.
The course has just been a very big opportunity, kind of a launching pad, to be honest, in terms of getting more serious about becoming a professional and what it means and like how you can work it for your schedule rather than what you think it's supposed to look like. I think that was my favorite thing about, um, being a dual professional, and thinking that's even an option, and like making yourself realize that your path is just how your path will be for the horses. And the different weeks, I really enjoyed the fact that there were different people that you brought in to teach us more. It makes you want to dream a little bigger. They wanted to give help. Like they wanted us to, it was more so of like, you know what I mean? Like a professional service in a way. Like you can get this from this person, this from that person, this from this person. And it's like, you know exactly what to do now. All you have to do is just organize yourself and call the people, and you have no excuse,
Right, you're building the toolbox of like, okay, now I need another, I need a little bit more of this, but now I know who I can talk to that does that all the time for a living. And so we can really get into the nuts and bolts of that.
But there are so many people in this industry that have other streams of income or other professions that are going on. Oftentimes we don't see that, right? On their social media, we see horse, 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 show, 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 sale, sale. We're not seeing the time they spend coding on their computer or teaching a class, a high school class. We don't see that. Like, people are multidimensional. And I think if we brace that in our industry, we're going to have really strong, robust, dedicated, energetic professionals, which we need because the sport's got to stay strong, and we need people filling in all these niches.
Yeah, I think this course really invited us to think outside the box and really sort of think about what does ideally horse life and making that a business look like for you. It doesn't have to fit into the box. You don't have to be a full-time riding professional or, a full-time equine photographer, right? You can pick and choose what you'd like and make it happen.
This class was kind of like a safe space as well for budding budding youngsters that want to elevate into where they want to go. So everybody's feeling the same energy, and it feels good to be around people that are kind of just like you. So there's this camaraderie, and it's like, it's great to be in an atmosphere that it's like, okay, we are cheering for each other instead of just competing with each other. And I feel like it's the balance of both. I feel like this gave the balance of both. Like, I feel like this is a good reason why like professionals should come in on like cohorts like this.
When you bring in individuals coming from different disciplines, whether it's hunter jumper, dressage, eventing, people interested in breeding, more teaching, more training across the country, even internationally, there's a place for everyone. So there's no need to compete. Yeah. Everyone can lift each other up and start this journey. Try to funnel the energy and get the expertise and lean on each other.
We have this group of people that we've gone through this course together. It gives us a whole new group that can act as a sounding board, because we've been through it and be like, okay, I'm really working on my mission statement here. What do you think about this? How could I improve that? And I feel like it's this sort of unique group that all has everyone has a different perspective because we're from different parts of the country and different disciplines, but it's just this really neat kind of support group that's been created. So from a logistical standpoint, for like business logistics, I found Mary Fasciana really helpful on the bookkeeping front. And at that moment I was working on writing out my business plan. And so that was very, very helpful. And then also the digital tools, because that's something that I just don't know about. And then I think the other side, in terms of like talking to the pros, I loved when Renee Elliott came on, because gosh, she just got you fired up, and really, really, she was inspired and be like, oh my gosh, like I can make this happen. I can do business how I imagine it, not how the society dictates what should be happening. And so I think that was just really, inspiring for that. It's just really helpful that way.
I thought that Laura Ashley's, but just like the woman from just Dressage, I thought her talk was very, very, I feel like that was where it got real for me, because it was meeting someone that she was younger as well, and she was really just very just like endearing, and it just made me realize that, like, yeah, like we can go further. And then I really enjoyed the conversation that we talked about with the branding, with the branding, because it's very difficult sometimes you don't want to mold to what the people want you to be. You want to be who you are and let that be what you sell. But it's horses and it's the horse world, and you still have to be realistic and be very appropriate about who you are, like how you show yourself. So I thought that was very, 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 like, again, it's a professional atmosphere, and we have to move a certain way. So
it's like this: how can you be you, but in this professional? So finding what's you, but of course in the context of the professional and in the industry. So that's a good feedback in certain speakers.
Yeah, I thought the chat with the pros was really cool, because you could really talk candidly with someone who is living and breathing this every day, and like really get into the grit of how does the rubber meet the road. These are the realities. Here's how I deal with them. Here are things to think about. Like, that was really cool to really get into the minutia of it in a really like open, candid way.
Right, yes. We're here to learn. We're here to learn, hear the reality, and take what we learn out to the real world. Not necessarily take the details of what was said out to the real world.
It was almost like we got a peek on the other side, and that was our peak, and we're supposed to use our peak and build our businesses, but that's just our peak because we showed up.
Why might you recommend this course to someone, and who would be the ideal student that you think this course would really benefit?
I personally would recommend this program to a lot of the kids that are like coming out of the Pony Club programs, and like kind of like some of the kids from my old barn back home, just because a lot of them, they want to be a working student, they want to be a professional, they want to do, these different things. And I feel like a course like this, a lot of the people that are in this program, they were in high school, or they were, graduating high school, and they're, going to be a working student. And I feel like that's the demographic, is the kids from, the barn back home type of relationship.
I would recommend this to anyone who has any inkling of maybe wanting to be a professional in the horse world, because the way it's designed, it's quite, the course helps you to be quite discerning about what it is that you'd like to do in the horse world. And is this something that you want to do professionally, or would you really rather be an adult amateur? And then it also gives you the tools to really dig in and see, how do I build a business plan, and is this feasible in this area? And it really asks all the questions that you need to be asking yourself if you want to be a professional in the business, and then giving you resources to answer them and flush it out. I think that this course gives you an opportunity to think bigger and to dream a little bit, and figure out how can you actually make it happen. Because if you told me a year ago that right now I'd be launching my business and I'd be getting on a plane to Ireland in 2 days, I would not have believed you. I would have been like, no, there's no way I can make that happen. But yeah, here we are. It's awesome.
If you don't want it badly enough, somebody else is willing to take your place. Just as simply, like, I think the horse world has taught us that in general, but this course is a real good in like really having a strong tool belt to be able to be prepared for like multiple different situations. You know how to talk. It's almost like you know how to talk now to people. They're teaching us how to sell horses.
Yeah, like it's, I feel like you're able to make your dreams a goal, and then you have the steps to reach them. It makes it attainable, you know?
Yeah,